Welcome back everyone, my name is Ember, and today we are continuing our One Piece journey with Volume 32. Before we jump into that though, I just want to point out that what coincidentally great timing for me to get into One Piece as a series. With this, I'm of course referring to the Olympics, and the sheer number of One Piece fans that turn out to be Olympic athletes and are just raking in medals. Like, we had that Greek athlete, whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I think he was like a weightlifter or something, or maybe a runner, I'm not sure. But he did Luffy's gear second pose before doing whatever sport he was doing. No, it was I think it was long jump. I think it was the long jump. Like, he did gear second and went on to win gold, I think, in that. We had someone else. We had a U.S. Shot putter do one of Frankie's poses, and then he won a gold medal. And then just today we saw an Italian marathon runner do the gear third pose before going on to run and win the gold medal in that. So I guess, physically speaking, One Piece is the superior fandom. And that's just how it is, I guess. Sorry, everybody else. One Piece fans just built different. So, yeah, I just wanted to get out. So, what a fun time for me to finally be getting into One Piece and really digging into this stuff. So, in any case, so this is volume 32, covers chapters 296 through 305. We're over the 300 mark already. It's fucking insane. So this covers the end of Skypiea. It's from when the first chapter has where Zoro slashes half of the giant. They keep calling it a giant jack. I don't know if is that like a common term for like a beanstalk or like a giant tree stalk or something? I don't know. But anyway, he slices the giant jack like halfway through, but it doesn't fall down yet. So that's where the volume starts. Then goes all the way through the end of Skypiea into the beginning of Water 7. Water 7 saga with the first arc. I think the arc name is Long Ring Long Island arc, I think, and it goes up until we get introduced to Foxy. But we'll get to that in a bit. First, we gotta cover the end of Skypiea, which was pretty solid. Luffy doesn't really give a fuck about Eneru at this point, other than the fact that he is in the way of Luffy ringing that fucking bell to let Cricket and all the people down on Jaya Island know that they found El Dorado and Shandora and all that stuff. And that was a really satisfying moment, just finally hearing that bell ring. Just I think we're around here somewhere. Just finally it's all clear. We are in the clear. I love the negative space used in this. Like, normally negative space, like a lot of times in manga, I see a lot of like big negative space like this used to like imply isolation. But in this instance, well, I guess technically it is kind of implying isolation because we got the Maxim up here, Eneru's arc, and it's all up by itself. But otherwise, like just conveying the sheer scale of it all. And just making this a really triumphant moment. But even leading up to that, we had some really cool combat stuff. We had Luffy basically just spinning that giant gold ball on his hand around in a circle to, like, dissipate Eneru's Kingdom Come. That was a really cool attack. And then, like, he just winds that fucking thing up into a goddamn corkscrew. I forget what he calls this attack, but it just looks so fucking cool. And then Eneru has like his Amaru attack, which is obviously a reference to Amaterasu, the sun god. But yeah, I guess Luffy calls it the golden rifle. Just the sheer potential, I think that's what it's called, potential force. I don't know what the actual physics term is, but the potential force in this attack and just how hard it fucking hits is just so fucking cool. So Eneru just completely gets his shit kicked in. Very satisfying conclusion. And we finally get the answer to what Eneru's endless verse was. Turns out he was let me see if I can find this shot, because it's there it is. Turns out he was referring to the moon. Like at first I was like, okay, well that's kind of fucking stupid, but it really plays into like the god complex that he has, just this absolute delusion of his. Like, he truly believed himself to be a god. He truly believes that the endless verse is a place that he could go to. Obviously, he can't go... Sorry. Obviously, he can't go to the fucking moon in a normal, just like a flying ship. So, it really plays into the delusion that he has been living under. So that was an interesting idea. So, yeah, just this was just like one long, just all of these chapters, just in the first 3 or 4 chapters of this are just like one long climax pushing to that bell ring, and it's so fucking satisfying. And a side note of that, I loved when like Mont Cricket and the Monkey Pirates were like, "Yep, there's the bell," and then Mont Cricket's like, "All right, what do we look for next?" Just rolls right into it. Like, he's not going to give up the friends that he made searching for the bell on the seafloor. Like, obviously they're done with salvaging for now, because the City of Gold is not down there. So now they got to find something else to do. So that was a nice little turn there. This was oh, we'll get to that later. But yeah, solid ending. Luffy and them. I liked the comedy of this ending, where they're finally acting like pirates and like looting. Oh shit! I must be tired today. But like they actually loot the ruins for gold and stuff. Like, the villagers don't really fucking care about it, but they're actually acting like pirates for the first time. Although they think the villagers care about it. And so they end up running off with all that gold. So that was a fun little bit. Just to, again, continuing the tradition of the Straw Hats getting chased out of whatever island they just saved. But in this instance, it's kind of brought upon themselves. They're the ones chasing themselves out because they don't know what the fuck's going on. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, they finally got treasure. They finally got we're 300 chapters in, and they finally got some booty. So good for them. Hopefully they don't immediately lose it, based on anything that happens in the upcoming arcs. So that was Skypiea. Pretty solid overall. My only major complaints, again, were the stuff that I mentioned in the previous video. Like, for the most part, Oda's take on colonialism is pretty progressive for the most part, and just really interesting to see and discuss this stuff. But the Noland flashback was a little bit off base, just a little bit. Not enough to really put a major dent in how cool this idea was, but again, it's important to just call this stuff out when you see it, so we can learn from it in the future. And again, this was written like almost 20 years ago now. Like, these kind of thoughts on portrayals of indigenous groups weren't even in the minds of like major writers at this point. So, oh god, yeah, why am I yawning so much? So, yeah, overall, really solid arc. Just completely takes the story in a different direction for a nice little side trip. Wouldn't exactly call it little, though, because it was almost 70 chapters, I think. But I had some fun with that. Some really interesting combat and such. Really not innovate, but gave a little spark of juice to the creativity of the combat in certain areas. Oh my fucking god, why do I keep yawning? Oh well. But yeah, I teared up a little bit with the bell, but I don't think I really like full on cried at anything so far, or in not Water 7, in Skypiea. Unlike with the Nakama moment in Alabasta or the Arlong Park in East Blue. So, oh, sorry, I forgot. I do like the development with Robin and her idea of chasing like the true history of the world. That totally slipped my mind for a sec. So, the idea of the poneglyphs is slowly building up, and I like where that's going. But anyway, Skypiea, really solid arc. I would give it a solid 7. Maybe a strong... No, not set. Shit, what the fuck am I saying? Solid 8. I would give it a I have the next arc in my head. That's probably why I said 7. And I just had the word staring at me here. But yeah. Solid 8. Maybe a strong 8. But I'm mostly leaning towards solid 8. I hope this is not a continuous downward trend, because, like, I think I gave East Blue, like, a light to solid 9, and then I gave Alabasta, like, a strong 8 to a light 9, and now this is, like, Skypiea was a solid to strong 8. So hopefully I'll eventually find something that I like just as much as I liked East Blue. But, in any case, we're moving on to Water 7 now, which I believe was where, after the Toonami reboot in the early 2010s, when they finally started airing One Piece, this, Water 7 was where they started with the Long Ring, Long Island arc. So with this one, we get some more really interesting world-building creativity and such. Just the idea of it's an island, but everything is long. Makes for some really creative... Oh, goddamn. Makes for some really creative scenery and just wildlife and stuff. Really like it. Some really solid comedy. We get the bit with, what's this dude's name? Tunjit. And his horse. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, when Foxy shows up, immediately acts like a fucking prick and shoots Tunjit's horse for fun. Already hate him. I don't think this arc is very long. Although it might be a few arcs pushed together. But we'll see how it goes. All I know about Water 7, aside from like these opening bits, like I guess I think like the Davy back fight I vaguely remember. Honestly, I think I thought when I first saw it on Toonami that it was a filler arc that they started with or something. Or maybe I like checked anime filler list and there were like some filler episodes jammed into it. But honestly, I barely remember anything about it. So very interesting. I know the Davy back fight is a term that I've heard before. So hopefully that turns out interesting. Yeah. And I know, of course, that I believe Water 7 also has Enies Lobby at the end of it, which is another, like, legacy One Piece arc that I'm probably going to like quite a lot once I eventually get to it. But, yeah, not a whole lot to say about Water 7 at this point. Mostly just some very brief initial setup with some solid comedy. Apparently I need to take a fucking rest, even though I can't rest after this. But, yeah. Skypea's in the books. Moving on to Water 7. Very excited to see where it goes. I have noticed, also that the dialogue is getting much more dense, in the chapters recently, especially in this particular volume. Like, there's just so much dialogue, which is fine, but I tend to prefer my manga a bit on the lighter side when it comes to dialogue. I like it when it's just more visual. So, god damn, how many times have I yawned in this recording now? But yeah, that's it for volume 32. In any case, be sure to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and be sure to leave a comment about what you thought. I guess I could say it now. I guess when I come up, I guess maybe I could come up with like a question of the day or something about this particular volume or such. So I guess I'll just throw out this question: what's your favorite One Piece island in terms of like how it's what its gimmick is? If it's a spoiler, like maybe just give me a spoiler warning, because obviously if I haven't gotten there yet, I'd like to know. I'd like to keep that a little bit secret. Really, there's only One Piece secret or One Piece spoiler that I know, and I don't think that's happening for at least another 20, 30 volumes. But we'll get there when we get there. In any case, my name is Ember, and I'll see you next time.